Hello everyone, so I'm here today because the Booker long list for this year has been announced about an hour ago, and I was doing other things so I couldn't film it, but I have seen the list and my first impression was disappointment, I think, because the last book that they announced I was not excited about, but looking back on it, I think there is a division of books that I really want to read and books that I don't want to read. So there is no, oh, I have never heard about that and I really want to read it. There are books I have not seen before, but they don't appeal to me. So yeah, it's a bit of a mix, but let's go through the books and then I can tell you my thoughts. So the first one is Glory by NoViolet Bulawayo, which I already wanted to read before. I have read Winning New Names and I thought it was good, but not like mind-blowing. But this one sounds more interesting to me. So it is sort of a political satire that takes the shape of Animal Farm, and that sounds interesting to me, and I wanted to read it before it was announced in the prize. So yeah, that one is a win for me. The next one is After Sappho by Selby Schwartz, and this one I had not heard about before, but reading the description it sounds like a collection of vignettes about how women are mistreated in history. I feel something like that, and it doesn't sound super interesting to me. I mean, the themes sound interesting, but the fact that it's told in vignettes with a huge amount of characters, it's not something that appeals to me. So I don't think that I'm going to be reading this one unless it's in the shortlist. To be honest. Then there is Nightcrawling by Leila Mottley, and this one I knew about because she is a student of Ruth Oseki, and when Ruth Oseki won the Women's Prize this year, she mentioned this student and this book. And I mean, I love Ruth Oseki, so that's high praise in my view, but at the same time the description of this book sounds about a young black woman in America that has problems with the police. And that sounds like it has been done many times to me, and it doesn't sound like something that I'm super drawn to. So this one is another one that I don't know, maybe depending on the reviews, but on principle it doesn't sound like amazing. Then there is Maps of Our Spectacular Bodies by Maddie Mortimer, which I think was in a lot of prediction lists. At least the cover sounds like looks very familiar to me from this type of videos. And this one it sounds really weird. The description sounds really weird. It sounds like a trip, and it focuses on women's bodies, I think, and how they shape our lives, something like that. This one sounds somewhat intriguing, but it could also be completely pretentious, which probably is. So I don't know. To me, this one is one I have to wait for reviews of people I trust, because it sounds like it could be interesting or it could be like this horrible pretentious thing that I will hate. So yeah, I'm not gonna jump to that right away, I think. Then there is Trust by Hernan Diaz, with I have heard good things about. It seems to be about New York in the 30s and the upper class of New York, and it sounds fun. It sounds like it could be fun, but also not something that I'm super drawn to. But yeah, like this one is one of the fun ones, so I might pick that one up. Just because, yeah, it's one of the better sounding ones in the list. Then there is The Trees by Percival Everett, which I have heard very good things about, but it doesn't necessarily appeal to me. It says it's a mystery surrounding several deaths in Mississippi and racism. And I don't know, somehow from the reviews I feel like this is a surface level book, and I might be completely wrong about that, and we will see if when the reviews come out that's the case. But for me it's such a surface level thing of a thing that, again, in the last few years we have seen a lot of books about this topic. So it's not something that I'm necessarily dying to read. I have heard a lot about this book, and I still, it was not in my TBR, so it doesn't sound like something I'm super drawn to. The next one is Booth by Karen Joy Fowler, and this one seems to be about the family of this famous American man that I don't know who he is. So that doesn't sound super interesting to me, because if it revolves around someone I don't know how appealing it can possibly be to me. So this is probably the one of the ones that I'm least interested on, and I definitely don't think I'm gonna read it unless it's in the shortlist or something. Maybe then, but not really. The next one is The 7 Moons of Maali Almeida by Shahan Karunatilaka. I hope that I pronounced that right. And this one is set in the 80s in Sri Lanka, which as a setting it sounds a lot more interesting to me. Also the cover is really beautiful in my opinion, but it seems to be some kind of murder mystery as well, or there's a murder mystery element on it, which seems to be a lot of them in this list. I don't know why there are so many mysteries and murders in this list, but it seems to be a thing that this particular set of judges really like. And from all of those, this one is the one that appeals to me the most. So I think I probably will read this one just because, again, it's one of the ones that appeals to me the most. The next one is again another thriller mystery kind of thing, and it's a case study by Graeme, Macrae, Burnet. And this one is set in London in the 60s, and it's about a psychoanalyst that messes up with his patients, I think, or something like that. So yeah, another murder mystery. This one sounds that it could be fun, but I'm not overly interested in it either. Then the next one is Trickle Walker by Garner, and this one says it has a lot of myth and folklore elements in it. It seems to be about the coming of age, maybe. I'm not completely sure. The description is very vague, but it also has a little bit of a Max Porter point description to it. I don't know why. It reminds me of it. But yeah, this one I'm not super interested in. It seems to be like the writing style is one of the main points of this book, so if I am interested in the writing style, I might be into this, and this one of the shorter ones, so maybe I will still try it because it's short and I'm somewhat intrigued. But yeah, it's we will see. And then the next one is, I think, the one that made me feel the most like I really don't want to read this list, is Oh William by Elizabeth Strout. It's the third, I believe, in sort of this companion series of novels by Elizabeth Strout, and I've read the other two, Olive Kitteridge and Olive Again, because I had to for the BookTube prize, and I did not enjoy those books, so I'm not reading this one. That's just how it's gonna go, because I'm not reading that. And then the other two books I have already read. One is The Colony by Audrey, which I really, really enjoyed. And the other one is Small Things Like This by Claire McKeegan, which I thought it was okay, and it's super short. And I read those two because they are also nominated in the Orwell Prize. So I will link down to my Orwell Prize video below, so that you can see more about my thoughts on those two books. But yeah, from this list, as you can see, many of them don't really appeal to me, but there are a few of them that I really, really like. Like The Colony I really like, Glory sounds amazing, and from the rest, The 7 Moons of Maali Almeida I'm intrigued about, and Trust I might be a bit intrigued about, and the other ones I think we will see. I think I'm not going to try to read the long list this year, because this list doesn't seem like something I really want to read. And the good thing about this list also is that there is no bricks, there is no chunkers. I think the longest one is probably around 400 pages, so yeah, that's a good thing. But I think I will just read the ones that I'm interested in and see when the reviews come in if something else pops up that is really appealing, and then maybe I will do the shortlist. But it's, I mean, in some sense it's good that it's not such an appealing list, because then I can ignore a lot of the books here. Also, I have to say that I'm quite happy that from the list there were a lot of books that I saw over and over again in many predictions that I was completely not interested in, like even less than these books, and those that have not popped out, like To Paradise by Hania Yarankahara, or Young Mungo, or La Povna, I think it's La Povna, the Oteshamosfek one. Those were ones, like the Julian Barnes, those were ones that I really didn't want to read, so I'm glad they are not here, and I'm glad that The Colony and Glory are here. So yeah, some positive, some not so positive thoughts, and we will see how we go. As I said, I think I will read 2 or 3 of those, and we will see what happens with the shortlist. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the list. If you are planning to read any of these, if you have already read some of these and you think that I should also read some of these that in principle I'm not interested in, let me know. And until next video, bye!